The sales robots have taken over, and they're decimating deals left and right, destroying them right in their tracks. On the AI for Sales podcast, our mission is to empower everyday sellers to embrace AI superpowers to build new bridges and crush quota. Dr. Joel Abon said it best in the AI for Sales book. In sales, time kills deals. In AI for Sales, AI kills time. Join our hosts as we learn from the C-suite of the world's fastest growing companies about how you can leverage AI today to transform your sales revenue engine while being the best version of you.
Hey everyone, Joe Papa here, founder and CEO of Traversity, and your host today for the AI in Sales for Sales podcast. Today, I'm super excited to have Chuck and Dana Staszkiewicz, the co-founders of Opus and Gold's consulting company. Chuck, Dana, welcome to the show.
Thank you. And you even got the name right.
Practice, Chuck. Lots of practice. Awesome. Well, it's great to have you guys here. I guess, Chuck, thinking back, maybe we met just about a year ago, I think,
yep.
at an event. And, it's been great getting to know you and see you, towards the end of your journey and to meet Dana and see what you guys have accomplished over the past decade or so. Remarkable results. So for the listeners here, Chuck and Dana, they had built up a company and recently exited that company. So Chuck and Dana, can you tell us more, what were the results you got? Like, how'd you start and how'd you build that and exit that company?
Yeah. So I started the company in 2011, just myself and a helper out of my garage. And I grew it from 2011 to 2019, 2020, from 0 to 12 million. And felt I was doing really well and, winging it to a point, right? Didn't really fully understand the business, but was doing really well in it. And then COVID hit. And it was a big wake up. And I'll never forget, I said to Dana, I said, I hired her in February.
It was January
of 2020. Mm-hmm. And then the shutdown happened in March. And I remember getting on a call with her. She was new to the industry. And I remember getting on a call with her and just saying, hey, here's what we need to do, right? The top two things that I said we needed to do was hire training and double down on advertising.
Training and advertising. Awesome. And how was it when you considered hiring your sister, like as a brother and sister? Like that's a different kind of relationship going into the business. What was that like?
Yeah. Dana tells the story better, so I'll let her take this one.
Well, it depends on. Basically, it was like Thanksgiving of that year prior. He had called me and we were chatting, and he was doing something in marketing. And I was like, wait, what? What is your person doing? No. And so we were just talking about that. And then he's like, maybe you just need to come work for me. I was like, no. Well, then one thing led to another. And I think it was like that weekend or the next, I went out to Utah because I was based in Michigan at the time. Went out to Utah and visited. He's like, just come see us. Like, come see the shop, all of that. And then by the end of that weekend, we're like, let's do this. It was crazy. Like, it was a total, I don't want to say it was an impulse because we were both feeling it. But it was like, so what? He's like, I don't know what your talents are. I know you have talents. Let's just figure this out. So my job description was very vague. And the rest is history.
Yeah. And that's where really is going to the next level, Joe, right? Like, I knew that I was missing something. I didn't know exactly what it was. And by bringing Dana on, I was able to identify the missing pieces and go to that next level. Along with bringing on a coaching trainer, we were able to go even faster because she's not from, the home service industry. She worked in completely different industries throughout the years, retail and ad agency. So she had experience working with companies, but never in the home service industry.
Awesome. Yeah, and just to pull it back, so we're on the AI for Sales podcast, so listeners might be wondering, like, what does this have to do with AI for Sales? But here's the thing, you just nailed it. It's when you come from a different industry and different experience, you can take the concepts that made you successful in that industry, in that realm, and then apply it into a new realm to do something different than what everybody else is doing, right? Because, we fall into this trap in industries, right, that everybody kind of does the same thing more or less. And when you bring in somebody with a fresh perspective like Dana was in your situation, then, that kind of unlocks the door. Awesome. So take me.
One more point to that too, Joe, is like right now, technology is going so fast and so rapidly that if you're not growing and expanding, you're going to get sucked under, because the guys that they're going to lead the way, right? The guys that are paying attention to the AI, up on all the Google platforms, up on all the latest trends, advertising on TikTok. They never thought a plumber would be advertising on TikTok. Well, it's happening, right? And those guys are excelling. And the ones that are at the lead of it, and go out and get that knowledge are the ones that are going to be super successful. The ones that don't and just keep doing the same thing over and over again, they're not going to get the results that they even were getting before, because it's expanding so much faster.
Wow. Yeah, good point.
And I think that covers like for everything, like technology, but also like business and personal. Like we all need to be expanding ourselves to stay relevant. And especially in the business realm, there's so much competition out there. And I know Chuck is the same, and I know you are too, Joe. Like, we're reading books, we're listening to podcasts, we're doing like all the things. We have mentors, we have coaches, we have everything just to make sure we're keeping up on everything and expanding our mind so we can expand our businesses for ourselves as well as for our clients.
Awesome. So you grew the company, and then you were able to sell the company, exit it successfully. After going through that experience, what's your view on AI now and technology? Like, how does that affect that experience, and how might it have gone differently if this has happened maybe a year or two later?
Well, that's just it. Now, we exited August 1st of 23, and it, looking back on it now, there's so many things that I would have done differently and implemented, even getting ready for the sale, because number one, I didn't know the certain things, and number two, it was like the technology has come so far, right? Like now, the technology was there, but it wasn't as developed, like AI answering. Like that has really developed over the last couple of months, and continuously developing day to day and rapidly changing. So, there's other things that I would definitely do different leading up to it, and using AI. I mean, ChatGPT, just the free version. If I want to find something or script something or put something together, it's amazing the results that you can get from it.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah. So you exited the company, and AI probably would have made it a little bit of a different situation had you been doing it now or next year. Certainly, probably a different experience. And now that you exited the company, you and Dana now started a new company, the Opus and Golds Group, where you're helping other businesses grow and exit. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, it's we really felt that there was that we weren't done, and that our experience, the good and the bad, could really help a lot of people. There was a lot of things that we went through that we can share, so people don't have to go through it themselves. And I feel that was the real reason for me, right? Like, I don't have to work anymore. I choose to do it because I know that there's people out there in the situation that I was in, where I felt stuck, confused, lonely, that old saying of it's lonely at the top, right? Like there was many times and nights where, a lot of the things fell on me because I was solely responsible for it. Right. So, being able to give back, and create something that benefits, so many business owners, and knowing that they don't have to go at it alone is super important. Dana?
Yeah, and I think that, Chuck and I discovered we're siblings and we work extremely well together. I mean, to look back on the last 3.5, 4 years that we worked together and everything we went through, it's pretty amazing. What we were able to accomplish with our team, of course, but we just work extremely well together, and we just knew, okay, what's next? Like, it would just make sense for us to do something like this. We're both passionate about it. We love it. People like to say we're yin and yang. That's why we work well together. Both of us together bring a lot for companies, and we're not just staying in the service industry, we're across all industries.
Yeah. And it's funny, Joe, because we used ChatGPT to finalize our name. We had some ideas, but we put that in there and we went through, 7 or 8 different cycles. But I shared this the other day too. And really why me and Dana are doing this is we've met with, probably close to 50 different businesses in the last 2 months. We officially launched November 3rd, but we'd been doing things behind the scenes before we officially launched. And it's interesting because after every conversation that we have with business owners, you see something switch in them. And it's like a spark of momentum, a spark of, okay, I figured some things out that I didn't know, right? And, I'm finding now a pathway, right? So that is, in my opinion, the ultimate paycheck for us, right? Is seeing that drive come back and that spark of like, holy cow, like, and I was there, right? Like 12 years, or I was in business for 12 years, 9 years with doing it on my own. And I thought I knew everything. And then I went and sought out a coach. And when I met with them, I was like, holy cow, I was blown away. I realized I didn't know anything that to that point that could get me to the next level that I wanted to go to. So it was like, I remember when that spark happened for me, and it's so interesting to watch it with other business owners after you're done talking to them. And there's so many, like Dana said it before, that the coaching realm is so saturated, but not really, not with good coaches, right? And there's so many people that just don't know where to look to find a good coach or a good mentor or a good consultant to help drive their business even further. And that's one of Dana's expertise is, driving the business home. Like I'm the creative one, right? Like I love to come up with ideas, and I'll come up with 5 million ideas in 30 seconds sometimes. And Dana doesn't have to, she's really good at figuring out, okay, this makes sense, this doesn't make sense, let's do this, let's not do that. And then once we narrow it down, like driving it to a finish line. And again, meeting with a lot of businesses over the last few months, almost every entrepreneur is that way. Because they just want, I don't know if it's a distraction or that's why they're in business in the first place, because that's how they think. But I've seen multiple businesses that they have so many different things going, and they never really finalize any of those different things, right? And it's like, okay, well, let's narrow down. Let's first, let's get your books in order so you're making money or not. Secondly, let's figure out of these ideas what is for right now and what can wait, right? And I'm at fault for that. I'm very much that way, that I want to just do everything all at once, and I can get really distracted. But it's super important to have someone like Dana on your team or beside you that can really narrow that stuff down, and that's what we identify, and who on your team can be that, because it's not the entrepreneur. It's a completely different person than the owner of the business. The owner of the business thinks completely different than the driver of the business.
Powerful. And what would you say is something that you're seeing with business owners? Like you had mentioned, kind of having a lot of ideas and being able to focus on a subset of those ideas. What's one common problem that you see across businesses, and what would you suggest to help solve that problem?
I can think of 3 right off the
Go
bat
ahead.
that are common. This is my background. I come from the ad agency world, like Chuck mentioned, so I have that creative side. Brand is a huge issue. There are very few, especially in the service industry, there are very few service industry companies that have good brands, in my opinion. It's subjective. And so that is a huge thing that people we've met with that need help with that. We're already helping rebrand companies. 2, a lot of people have financial issues, I guess you could say, where their books are just kind of a mess. And I think it's kind of like with Chuck, when people are starting small, they don't expect to get, like super large. And there's a lot that comes with that. So a lot of times it's a spouse or someone that's doing the books. And I think they just as the company grows, it gets beyond what they can handle or want to handle. And then the third would be, like we talked about, drivers. Not having a driver is super hard. But I think that when you're $1 million, like the person who can be that driver is not going to work for $1 million company. Or I should say they would, but I'm not so sure that the $1 million company could afford them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And the most common one was, just like I was saying before, is not focusing on the things that they need to be focused on and adding too many things before something else, right? Like adding another department before they've got that first department figured out, or adding another service to their business before they've got that first service figured out. And, it's great to have all these ideas and want to give back to your employees and all these things. But first, if you're not making money, how do you give back, right? So again, it comes back to that. That's pretty much the common theme is they're focused on too many things, but not the right things. And one in particular has, simple systems and processes drawn out, but hasn't implemented them. We met with him a week ago and we're like, whoa, this is great. Why haven't you done anything with it? Oh, well, because I started this and I started that and I started this. And it's like, hold on a second, but that's the missing piece to finish one thing and before you go to the next thing.
Wow. How do you think AI plays into this? Does it make it easier or harder?
Yeah, I feel it's way easier because you could literally use it as an outline, right? Depending on how you put it in there. But write me a system for my sales counter in an auto shop. And there you have a script. It might not be exactly what you want, but it gives you, the way I interpret it is it gets rid of that writer's block for people, right? For me, at least, I should say. Because if I'm stuck on something, and that's where I'll give up and move on to the next thing, right? Knowing that that's how I worked in my business, is when I got stuck and it was hard, I would just move on to the next thing and not finish that. So using it for that writer's block per se, it can really move you into, let's finish this, right? And it does give you a great outline. Now you have to play around with it a bit, and it's getting easier and easier. And there's tons of articles out there, Joe, and then experts like you, hiring an expert like you to train a team to use AI efficiently can really speed up. I mean, there's so many different things that now I would do differently, like call centers and dispatch and, systems and processes, all using AI. What about you, Dana? What do you think?
Yeah, to expand on the SOPs, like if we were back at all hours right now, and looking to exit, that's one thing I would do. Like we were trying to get all of our processes in place, and it's a huge undertaking. And with AI, like it could simplify so much. And to be clear, like you'll want to, you like Chuck said, you have to put certain things in there, and all of that to make sure. But like once you figure out some of that, it could really help. For us at the Opus and Golds group, like Chuck said, we've only been live and official for the last month, and we are already changing things because AI is just changing so quickly. And so what we've been doing for social posts, we're changing a little bit, just because we have so many posts that we're wanting to do, and we have to do things more efficiently. So we are now using a new program that includes AI in it just to help us. It's not like 100% where I would like to see our posts, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's making the team quicker, like move quicker and faster. And I'm okay with 80 to 90%, just because, it's great. You just have to figure out, like for us with our website, we used AI for a lot of that. Like we put in, I would put in all the content and have AI like clean it up. I told it the tone that I wanted, all of that, just to make us sound more professional, than what we might have come up with, and just really gleaning it to make sure it's golden.
That's awesome. Awesome. Yeah. One of the things that I teach people that they overlook is that you can use tools like ChatGPT to review your stuff. Right. So now with internet access, I mean, we were using another one called Claude and Perplexity, which have more internet access, but now that's integrated into ChatGPT. You can just say, here's a link to my website, give it a review, let me know what you think, and give me suggestions on how to improve it. Right. It's like that concept alone, it could be applied to sales. It could be applied to training, your operations, basically all your SOPs, anything in your business. You could ask AI as a reviewer to take a look and give you suggestions, open the doors on things that you may not have seen before.
I even went so far, it was several weeks ago, I went back when we were doing a ton with our social and trying to figure out, like getting our team up to speed. I put in who our ideal client is, and then said, help me generate social post ideas based on who I'm trying to target. And it was amazing what came up. So I think, for the people that are scared of AI and all of that, everyone, has their own thing with that, but it's here. So we have to embrace it. And what does embracing look like?
Yeah. And the way I look at it with sales, Joe, would be give me the top 10 rejections for this product when I'm trying to sell it, or something like along the lines of that, right? Like and then if some of those objections, right now you practice those objections, right? So I mean, it's such a great tool that's expanding so rapidly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, a lot of there's so many tools that are coming out, literally thousands and thousands. It's hard to keep up with them. And, for a lot of cases, it's like the first stop is ChatGPT for things like that. But yeah, it's amazing. That the point you make, Chuck, is such an amazing thing, that you can use AI as kind of like your role playing, right? It's like when we do training and you do role playing with customers and whatnot. It's like, hey, use your AI and role play, and then tell them, give you objections, right? Give you objections and see how you overcome them. Use it as a training tool. Awesome. So let's talk about you have a monthly open Zoom call that you're launching soon. Can you tell us some more about that and how people could learn more and get access to your experience and knowledge and help in their own sales and business?
Yeah, Dana?
Yeah, so we are going to have, I'm just looking up, there we go. We are going to have experts come in monthly, and like Joe said, we're going to do an open Zoom, so you can sign up at team@opusgolds.com, and we'll have a specialist and expert come in every month. They're part of our preferred partners, or the OG partners, And so we have one in just a couple of days, depending on when this is coming out. We're starting off in November with an expert on acquisition. So if you're looking to exit a company, you can come on, hear all about that. We're going to talk about our exit, things we learned, we would do differently, all of that, and then have a Q&A time. And then we're just going to keep on throughout the months. We have experts all the way into May now. So, and Joe will be on talking AI in February. Then we're going to have marketing people, we'll have financial people. So we're super excited about all the ones that are coming in the next few months.
Yeah, and those for us are just to deliver and serve for people, right? Like it literally is, information based, and people like you, Joe, bringing in some great information that you wouldn't have otherwise. And then we'll save 10 or 15 minutes for type in questions, right? Ask the expert questions. Like podcasts are great, but you can't live ask questions there. They follow up with email and stuff like that. But that's our concept behind an open Zoom, monthly. And Dana's also working on a coffee hour that she's going to do and bring in some female experts as well on that side. And the best way just to learn about that is follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or reach out to us, like Dana said, at team@opusgolds.com.
Awesome. So before we go, I love this story. I just want to share this with our listeners. But how'd you come up with Opus and Golds? Name?
We hinted it before. We used AI quite a bit, but Dana actually came up with. We were going back and forth, bunch of different names. Couldn't really see eye to eye on a lot of them. We were like, oh yeah, that one works, but not really, And then Dana said, well, what about Golds? And I'm like, Golds? And it actually is the first initial of all of our kids: Goldie, Andrea, Liam, Dylan, and Savannah. So that's what formed the Golds. And Dana, what's the Opus again?
Yep, Opus is a work of art. So when Chuck said we went through multiple iterations, we literally probably had 50 to 100 names that we went back and forth on. We even went as so far as to came up with, we had logos created, and then at the last minute we would change. And so it was a process for weeks that we went through. But Opus consistently kept coming up in AI generation, and we were both drawn to it, but it's a work of art, and we see it as our clients are a work of art. Our company, their company is all a work of art. And then of course, gold is gold. And then when you make it golds, you have Chuck and Maddie's kids and my kids, and it's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
And my favorite part is it's the OG group. And look, in 10 years, 20 years from now, Joe, we're going to be the OGs of business, right? Like, I'm not going to call Dana old, but we'll save that for later. No, seriously, like that's one of my favorite parts of it. And we're really expanding on that too.
That's awesome. The OGs. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it, guys. So it's a great opportunity if you're listening out there to really tap into the knowledge and experience of Chuck and Dana. And now with opusgolds.com, go to opusgolds.com and join the group of OGs being out there, right? I love the community. It's such a great time whenever we're together and I see the people that you're working with. And it's just a great group to be a part of. So I encourage anybody out there that is working in a business or looking to grow their business or even exit their business to go there, reach out to Chuck and Dana on Facebook, or go to team@opusgolds.com. Reach out to them. Hopefully you'll catch us on our Zoom call where I'll be joining them to talk AI and really dig deeper into AI for sales and AI for business. And it's just been great having you both on the show. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. And seriously, anybody, reach out. There's no small questions. I mean, we work with startup companies all the way to $10, $20 million companies. I love answering questions, right? And I'm always available, so reach out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Great having you on.
Hey, you made it this far in your AI for sales journey. Want to augment your sales growth? First, leave us a review and then visit www.scalex.ai to claim your free strategy session today.